Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Pugh of the Hope Bible College. It is September the 14th, and we're beginning our readings in Proverbs 21 and chapter 22. Now, Proverbs 21 begins with an interesting thought. It's a little verse all by itself. It says, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will." You know, it's the picture is that of the gardener who is watering his garden, and he has little rivulets of water that's running through it, and with just the slight turning of his foot he's able to guide water into a new channel. And so it is, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. The Lord is able to, just with a turning of his foot, he's able to change the king's heart and put it into a new channel. Beautiful concept. Let's read on with some of the other concepts in these proverbs. They're absolutely amazing. Verse 2, "Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts." You know, every one of these proverbs could be inscribed onto stone and put on a plaque, or put in the garden, or put above a door, or put on a wall. Amazing. The Lord pondereth the hearts. To do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. How true. You know, the Lord is not so much interested in an apology. He would rather that people do that which is right in the first place. A high look and a proud heart and the ploughing of the wicked is sin. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but of every one that is hasty only to want. Verse 8, "The way of man is froward and strange, but as for the pure, his work is right." Better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. How interesting. He says it's better to have just a little corner all to yourself on the top of the house than to have a wide open house with a woman that fights, a brawling woman. Verse 12, "The righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but God overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness." You see, this is how God manages the world outside of grace. He is the one who lifts up men. He is the one who puts men down. He is the one who brings honor to men. He is the one who brings disgrace to men. He is the one who rules in the kingdoms of men. Verse 13, "Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he shall cry himself, but shall not be heard." Wow. That's called the judgment of God, where God responds according to how we live and does it in perfect justice. Let's read verse 16. "The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich." How true, how true. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. So says the greatest and the wisest man who ever lived. I'm sure a lot of men would agree. But it's better to be all by yourself in the wilderness than to be with a woman that is contentious, constantly arguing the point, or a woman that is angry. Now, I've taken verse 21 as being a password for today. There's a few other amazing verses, but verse 21, it says, "He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness and honour." Wow. So that really is the cornerstone of what it was like to live under the old covenant. Those that followed after righteousness and mercy, they found what? They found life. and they found righteousness, and they found honour. Three things they find. First of all, their human life is maintained. They find life if they follow after righteousness and mercy. They also find the righteousness that they seek, and they also find honour. Honour is the thing that comes to those that live righteously. Wow. Let's move on down. There's an interesting verse there in 31. It says, the horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord. Chapter 22. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favour rather than silver or gold. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Now verse 4 is also a password of mine. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches, honour and life. Now it's very similar to the previous password, but you see what Solomon is doing is he's bringing out the key points of what it is to live faithfully before the Lord in the Old Covenant. And here he highlights humility and the fear of the Lord. Humility is that state of the mind in which one thinks of oneself as being not great. And the fear of the Lord is that state of mind in which men tremble when they think of what the Lord can do. That's the fear of the Lord. And those that are humble and those that fear the Lord, they become rich, and they have honour, and they have life. Now verse 6 is a classic proverb. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old he will not depart from it. How true. Our children are the heritage of the Lord, and they are to be trained up in a way that they should go. You cannot guarantee that children will follow you, but you can train them up in the way that they should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. What a promise, a wonderful promise. Verse 7, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Oh, how so very true. There is such a thing as economic slavery. And economic slavery is when people are bound by debt. And he's just saying the rich ruleth over the poor. And how do they do it? Because the borrower is servant to the lender. Wow, now let's move right on down. There's so much in all of these proverbs. Let's look at 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Wow. Okay, now I know that we're living in a life today, in a modern world in which a rod of correction is not something that we do. But you know, the point is still well taken. That foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, and the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Now from verse 17, there's a long message from Solomon. It's like as if he's speaking to the readers. Let's read it together. It says, bow down thine ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge. For it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee. They shall withal be fitted in thy lips, that thy trust may be in the Lord. I have made known to thee this day, even to thee. Have I not written to thee excellent things in counsels and knowledge, that I might make thee know the certainty of the words of truth, that thou mightest answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee. Rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate, for the Lord will plead their cause, and spoil the soul of those that spoil them. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go, lest thou learn his ways, and get a snare to thy soul. Verse 28 is a very classic proverb, one that's so well known in the world. Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. You know, I remember hearing a sermon on this proverb many years ago, and the preacher was explaining that, you know, our ancient forefathers had certain things that they had to convey to us, and they put certain landmarks. They were landmarks of division, or they were landmarks of warning. You know, like on the top of a cliff, you'd have a notice saying, don't go any further. And these are the ancient landmarks which the fathers have set. It behoves us to not remove the ancient landmarks. I know that in France, the notaries will come around and they will put a boundary mark on your property, and that is a note. It is a statement of where your property starts or ends. And the removing of an ancient landmark is considered a very great crime indeed. So there we are. Now verse 29, seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. Wow. So isn't it amazing? This is a whole pile of just one after another. It's just proverb after proverb after proverb. It's a big heap of proverbs, and they are all incredibly significant. They're things that, especially Israel in the Old Covenant, they are to listen and they are to take note. There we are. Anyway, great to talk to you. Look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.